Let us relax our bodies and close our eyes and lift our minds, our thoughts, to the higher levels of divine love and light. Let us greet those who have come to be with us, those that we call the invisibles, those who are our brothers and sisters from the other dimensions. Let us greet them with open arms and with love and joy. Let us be more aware of their presence as we go through our day. Let us give recognition to their help that they give us so often. Think of this circle as a circle of light reaching upward to the higher dimensions. And as we reach upward with our thoughts and love, the higher beings are reaching down and making the contact. And think of each of us as a part of this contact, for we are lending our life force to this circle of light, each one. And so each one of you are the channel and are lending yourself to this beautiful experience of being one with each other and one with God and light and love. Thank you, Father. Good evening. This is Oliver speaking with you this evening. It is a joy to be with you and to see your bright countenance. This is a bright circle of light, and I would speak to you tonight on the subject of emotions. I would speak to you on the subject of life and many other things. But let us think of emotions and what part they play in our life. When we take the E from the word, then we have motion. And so when we combine emotion, we think of activity. And my dear ones, when you are able to lift your sights above the physical plane and see the emotions that are portrayed on your physical level, you will be amazed at the difference in each one of you and how you use your emotions. Emotions can plunge you to the depths of despair, or they can lift you to the heights of glory and beauty and divinity. It is how you use them that makes the difference. When you allow yourself the privilege of using the life force that flows through you in a loving and beautiful way, you are treating yourself to the wonders of life that is offered to you at all times. You are treating yourself to God's beauty and all the wonderful things that He has in store for you. Your Heavenly Father is within you and is all around you. Keep remembering this. Keep remembering that He is in everyone that you meet. He is in the air that you breathe. He is in the sunlight that touches your cheek. He's in the breeze that brushes your hair, and he is in the eyes of the one that you behold. He is here tonight in great abundance, for you are lifting your vibrations, and there are many, many in your circle from this side of the veil who are here to lend their vibrations of joy, the emotion of joy and love, to your dedication. It is pleasing to us to see your coming to these Wednesday night gatherings. It has been more than a year, and you continue to come, you continue to search, you continue to reach out to us, and this gives us great joy. I tell you, my dear ones, we want to help you much, much more than you know, and we have so much to give you when you allow us the privilege of giving you the insight, the love, the joy, and the beauty of knowing much, much more than just the physical plane. When you sit in your meditations, ask for help from us and from God to lift your sight, your inner sight, from the physical plane, and allow us to at least give you the impression of the beauty and the glory of these higher dimensions that lie ahead of you. Yes, some of you are having a little rough time going through this physical life, and some of you are doing well at all degrees in between. But I tell you, my dear ones, what makes the difference is how you feel about yourself and about your life. Feeling is an emotion, is it not? Feeling good, feeling bad, feeling sad, feeling joyful. Yes. Emotions play a large part in your ups and downs, your elevator. I was going to say, as you move upward or you go downward, as you become aware of yourself and aware of the divinity that you are, you allow yourself to stay on the upward journey much more. You allow yourself to allow us to give you the help that we have for you. This is one of the most important things that I would say to you this evening, is opening the door to allow us to come through, to allow us to speak to your heart, not especially in words, but in feelings, in emotions, in knowing. When you learn to discern the difference in our vibrations, when you learn to make the contact with your special teacher that is with you and is responsible for you in this incarnation, as you learn to have that feeling of belonging, that feeling of knowing that you are one with all life and all life is one with you, that understanding and enlightenment that goes with joining the club of life. There are many on your plane who belong to elite clubs and think that they are so wonderful and so they think highly of themselves in a little way. Let's see, how shall we say this? In their little ego, because they have this association with others who they feel are valuable on the physical plane. I tell you, my dear ones, the physical is less than 2% of your being, as you have been told so many times. But you need to be reminded of this. You need to be reminded that the other 98% is there waiting for you, is there just beyond the door that you can open within yourself, just beyond the door, that all is needed is the desire and the willingness to open that door. So many on your plane, hearing these words, would be frightened because it is the unknown. But in true reality, my dear ones, it is not the unknown, because you do know, and there is a part of you that knows all. There is a part of you that knows all of life on all dimensions in the whole universe, because you are one with all life. But as you seek entry into opening this door into the higher parts of yourself, into the higher parts of life, for you are life, then you begin to understand more about yourself. You begin to understand more about what life has in store for you. The physical is such a small amount of what life has in store for you. Yes, you have to go through your daily routines, you have to go to your jobs, some of you, and you have to pay your taxes and all of these things. But I tell you, my dear ones, be not concerned about the physical. Be not concerned about the things that happen on the physical plane. Lift your vision above and beyond the physical. Lift your feelings and your thoughts, your moods, your attitudes, your emotions. Let them carry you to the height of beauty and joy that lies within you, beyond that door that only you can open. Only you can open the door that leads to the higher consciousness that is known as the many mansions that the Master has talked of. You are your own salvation. You are in complete control of what happens in your life. You have been told this in many different ways, but I would remind you again that your every thought, word, and deed creates your future as it is. And your future is continually catching up to be your present, is it not? And all the thoughts and things that from the past move in to the next moment to make it what it is. Now, your emotions play a big part in whether you have control of yourself. Whether you have control of yourself means whether you have control of your life. And when your emotions take control in a negative way, then you plunge to the depths of despair, and you feel sad, and you create negative experiences in your life to come to you. Now, there are many degrees in between this depths of despair or the height of elation, and some of you rock back and forth many times between the two different degrees. I am pointing this out to you this evening to help you to see yourself more clearly, to paint you a word picture so that you will be reminded of what you are creating for yourself. As you were told last week, you are creating your many mansions on this side of the veil according to what you do with this incarnation. This is creating what you have created. It's adding to what you have created from the past. Some of you do not know that you are very high souls, have very high spiritual souls, because you are playing a role in this incarnation of what you would think of as a low, drab, not so important individual. But my dear ones, you cannot judge by appearances. And if you could look beyond this door, and if you would look beyond this door that lies within you, you would see many wonderful things. You would experience the joy and the elation that is the backbone of life on these higher dimensions. There are many ways to say things, and we feel so limited sometimes when we use your language in communicating to you. But when you sit in quietness, or when you are meditating on a beautiful tree, or whatever, listening to beautiful music, we can impress you many times when you are open to us. And when you remember to send us God's love, this is the greatest avenue to reach you. This is the greatest avenue for you to get the help that you deserve from this side of the veil. We could get discouraged sometimes, but we do not, with your stumblings and your lack of remembering to ask for help, because help is all around you. Help is within you, and many other things await your enlightenment and understanding. As we think about emotions, moods, attitudes, feelings, desires, these things, these emotions play a big part in how you feel about yourself, where you place your thoughts in your life as you go through your day. When you awaken in the morning, maybe a little late for work or an appointment or something, or you do not seem to be all together, and you rush here and rush there, and did not take the time to sit and be still and send love ahead of you, you have missed the mark. Think back on your week, my dear ones. How many times, how many days have you awakened to this plane to go through this type of experience? And what effect does it have on your day? Now think again, and if you awaken with joy in your heart and love, and say, "Good morning, God, I love you. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for life. Thank you for all the beautiful things that you have given to me and all the opportunities in this incarnation." When you awaken to this plane with that kind of feeling, emotion, then many wonderful things can come your way. All of you are reaching out on this physical plane for more abundance. And most of you on this plane think of abundance as money and physical wealth. Yes, this is abundance. Money is a symbol of God's abundance, but there are many, many other things that make life abundant. It is so much better to have a good feeling, a feeling of love, a joyful heart, than to have a large bank account, because you reap so much more from these positive, loving emotions than you do from just money. Nothing is wrong with having lots of money, an abundance of money. But I would remind you, my dear ones, when you do have an abundance of money, you are responsible for what you do with it. You have been given stewardship over this abundance. And those who have, those very few on your plane, who have great quantities of abundance, sometimes get tangled up in their thoughts about their values. And when they come to this side of the veil through the experience you call death, they sometimes do not have any worth, or not very much worth on these dimensions, because they have spent their whole life in accumulating money and physical wealth that they cannot take with them. So when you think of yourself and your day, the one day that you have, the only day that you ever have, if you have something to eat and some clothes to wear and a roof over your head and something constructive to do to give your part to life, be grateful for that one day. That's all you have to be concerned about. Just the one day. There is no other time except the present moment. And when you live it with joy and love and beauty and a feeling of elation, by knowing who you truly are, by being aware of the presence of your teachers and your friends from this side of the veil and your many friends in the physical world, and when you add to the worth of the physical plane by smiling at someone, by loving, sending God's love, and helping another, then you are very rich indeed, my dear ones. You are very wealthy. I seem to be rambling on this evening, and maybe you would care to ask questions this evening. We have an abundance in our circle tonight.
I have a question.
Yes.
I've gotten into this discussion with a number of people about the pendulum swing and the balance of where you should be with your emotions. But I get the impression that as you become more spiritual and true to yourself, your middle pendulum swing would be higher and higher. Is that true, or should you maintain it even rather than being too happy or too sad? Or I guess I don't know exactly how.
Yes. I understand your feeling. Would someone put some water in this hand, please? Thank you. When you are on the physical plane, it is not easy to keep an even balance. And this is what you're asking about. The balance is an important thing. And to keep your balance in what you do with your day is very important. You maybe have a job to go to, you have a family, you have a social life, and you have your spiritual homework, as your teacher calls it. And if you allow yourself to balance your day with these things and other things that you do, your hobbies, or in your social circle, I think it is easier to balance your week because you have grown to the point in your country where you have the weekend off, some of you at least, or you have 2 days through the week off. So the balance is very important. Now, I am not answering your question, but I wanted to put in this statement about balance because it is important that you have a balanced life. Some of you do to an extent. Most of you do not have as good a balance as you could if you would work at it. Now, the balance in your emotions is involved with where you are in your soul's growth. And where you are in your soul's growth determines how much control, and I do not like this word control, but it is the one that comes, over your thoughts, your feelings, your moods, and your attitudes. There are going to be times, as all of you are growing, and I do not see anyone in this circle that is perfect tonight, and I am not yet perfect in the sense that God is perfect, and this word perfect is misleading. Let us use it tonight in perfecting yourself on this physical plane, or as your teacher says, the first grade. Now, when you have sadness, then you plunge to the depths, or you have a little sadness, or you have a little irritation, let's say, and this rocks the boat in your language. And you get this straightened out, and you go on through your day, and something happens to make you happy and joyful, And so your thermometer goes upward. On this physical plane, my dear, you are not going to be perfect in the pendulum swinging back and forth. But as you move higher in consciousness, it will be more like a spiral, as some of you have said in the past, a spiraling of going upward and upward. And as you become aware of the value of your soul and of spirit, the higher spiritual qualities, then you give more time, more of what you think of as time, to your soul's growth. And when you do this, then you become more aware of yourself and what you are thinking, what you are feeling each moment. And this awareness gives you much more control. You see, when your habit patterns, your negative patterns, are more in control than your positive patterns, then you can easily be tripped up, can you not? And as you go through your day and you have a down day, as you call it, then everything seems to go wrong and the pendulum is in the black. And then maybe you get yourself together and the next day is a little better. I am speaking to you in this way to try to help you to understand how valuable it is for you to be in more control of yourself, and how valuable it is no matter what you are doing, no matter what pressures are put upon you, no matter what others think of you. It is much, much more important how you think and feel about yourself, and whether you allow other people to put pressures upon you, whether you allow circumstances to make you feel out of balance, to make you feel confused, or whatever. I tell you this in all earnestness. You are God's, and you have the power of God's, and you use it just a little bit. Just a little bit. If you did not use it, your life, your body would not exist. So you have to use it a little bit to keep yourself going. But when you start using it to a much greater degree, then you begin to understand that it is not important what somebody else thinks of you. It is not important if you're wearing the right kind of jeans. It is not important what kind of car you drive. But it's so important how you feel about it. And that's why we're talking about emotions tonight. The feeling, the emotions make a big difference in your life. And so how you feel about yourself is the most important thing. Now, let us restate the question and let's see if we have come any ways near of answering your question.
Yes, I think I was getting pretty close. The question was, if the pendulum swings, we're supposed to maintain a balance, and how do we gradually work our way up to feeling happier all the time? If the pendulum has to swing, you have to go the other way.
Yes, this is why you're on this plane, is to let the pendulum swing and to have experiences and to learn through these experiences. And I tell you again, as you have been told many times, it is not important what happens to you. But it's very important how you react to it. It's very important how you handle the situation. You are here to have experiences, negative and positive, loving and unloving, beautiful and ugly. This is a world of duality that you have built for yourself. This play on the stage, called Earth, is a dual play. And let me remind you that in your movies, if you didn't have the good guys and the bad guys, it wouldn't be very interesting, would it? Yes.
You mean then when you get on the other side and it's all good, it will be interesting?
No, I do not mean that, my dear one. The more you reach upward, the more you see of life, and the more beauty you behold. And when you see the love and the light and the beauty of life, this is so much more interesting than the good guys and the bad guys, or the duality concepts that you have now. You are programmed and conditioned to duality, and this is what holds you down to your lower dimensions. And I would have you to remember that there is no such thing as good or evil, time or space, no duality. It is just a play that you are playing with, and when your pendulum swings one way and the other way, this is a part of the duality play. So the more you are aware of how you feel and your emotions and what they are doing to you, whether they are lifting you up or pulling you down, the more control you can take if you so desire. Many, many on your dimension enjoy the play and the duality, and this keeps them coming back lifetime after lifetime because they take pleasure in the pain and the elation.
Then the emptiness you feel is good as the goodness you feel. Is that so?
It depends on how you feel about it.
Well, if you feel emptiness and you stretch up and want more of your God awareness, is that good?
Again, my dear Annabelle, let me say to you, it depends on how you feel about it. There is no good or evil. And when you say, is that good? You see, you're playing the game of duality.
Well, is that constructive?
And then you have destructive on the other side, do you not?
I guess you're right.
Yes.
But
You see, it's very difficult to get out of this duality game because it's woven into your language. And it's in you think in your language. Now,
you sometimes have to wait a few minutes because it just won't work. You can't force it.
yes, I understand what you're saying. I just wanted to make some points about the game of duality. Be not concerned about this mistake, so-called mistake, or that so-called mistake that you think you have made, but be grateful in all things. Be grateful in what you think of as bad, and your mistakes, your so-called mistakes. And when you are grateful, then you have an opportunity to learn. But when you are sad and are plunged into despair because you feel that you are bad or you have made a mistake, then all you see is darkness and gloom and doom. And you have to then rise up above that And it may take a day or a week or a month sometimes to get up to where you started from. But when you remember the truth, if you would hold the shield of truth and light in front of you in all your experiences, then you would remember that this is just a play. And it doesn't matter if your body aches or if someone is doing things that disturbs you or whatever. It does matter how you feel about it and how you feel about yourself, most of all. Does this help your understanding?
Well, I just am not doing anything for anybody, and when you're not occupied with something, it's pretty difficult to like yourself. Except the only thing I can think of is praying.
Yes. And do you know how powerful that can be? When you send God's love to the whole planet and everyone on it,
And I do that.
don't you think that's much more powerful than taking someone's temperature or something else that you have done in the past? Much more powerful, my dear. And at this time, you have the time to do this. You have the time to go within and open that door a little wider and see what's behind it. You see, when you are given the opportunity and you despair because you don't have any outer things to do, you are missing the mark, my dear. I am scolding you a little bit, but I do it in love. Take this time that you have and go within and get acquainted, not with Annabelle the personality, but the God self that you are. And let us help you to open that door a little wider and see the beauty and the grandeur that's all around you, and especially within you. This involves your emotions again, your feelings about yourself, your attitude about where you are, and that you don't have your sister now to take care of, and you feel that you're left out of life. My dear, this opportunity was given to you for just what we are talking about, to help you to learn to go within and see the beauty and the grandeur of life. Many, many on this plane would like to be where you are now and have the time to meditate more, have the time to reflect on the beauty of God's love.
I want to thank the people. I want to thank the people on the other side for helping me through this pattern. The people who have been concerned has made peaceful, fair judgments in a situation that I thought it could never be worked out without trouble.
Yes. There is an answer to all questions. There is a solution to all problems. And my dear ones, divine love is the answer. And when you understand this, when you allow it to go before you and to be your shining shield, then you have nothing else to be concerned about. Are there other questions this evening?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question. You said that we should be grateful for all things. I'm grateful for the negative and the positives, and the good and bad. And being grateful, that's appreciative of a son.
Yes.
And if we appreciate the bad things, then that leaves us no revenge.
No what?
No revenge.
No revenge?
That's right.
You need not have any revenge, my dear one. This is a destructive force. When you have something that has happened to you that you label bad, remember, always remember that you have created it. Now others are playing a role in your creations, but make no mistake about it, you have created it and no one else. This is difficult for you to see and to understand at times because it appears to be different from your physical point of view. But you create your own reality. You have heard these words, have you not? Yes.
Accepting it.
Yes.
Then, is that not suggestive of this, okay, for this to happen again?
No, it is not. Accepting it and knowing that there is an answer and knowing that you need not be in a negative mood about it or feel negative about it. Always, always be grateful. Say, thank you, Father, for this experience and this opportunity. Now show me the truth about it. Show me how to handle it. And if your door is open, then God's voice will be heard.
If we ask God to cancel out the negative patterns, can we just assume they're canceled out?
The patterns are there as long as you give life to them through thought. If you ask these patterns to be canceled out, then you have to turn your back on them completely and give them no more thought. Just as Daniel in the lion's den, he did not give the lions one thought. He turned his back on the problem and turned his face to God, to the answer. The lions had no power over him.
Thank you.
And when you have a problem or an opportunity, we should say, then turn your thoughts to the solution, to the truth, with a capital T, as your teacher would say, and ask for enlightenment if you do not see the truth about it. But even if you do not see and do not understand, know within the depths of your being that you have brought this into existence, and you have brought it into existence to learn from. Everything that happens to you on this dimension can be a learning experience if you allow it to be.
Is this similar to phrase that I've always used, generating a feeling about yourself to someone else, but allows them to do what they may do particular things? I don't know, but for instance, that I can use right now, other than if a neighbor throws trash in your yard, then this is an example. This happens, and rather than demolish the neighbor or for the action, this would not be permissive attitude that that it's okay to do it.
It matters not if they throw trash in your yard 1 time or 100 times. My dear one, if you can pick up this trash with love and joy in your heart, then you are not touched by this act. But on the other hand, if you become upset about it and irritated, then you are being destructive to yourself. You see, you have been told many times that you are only involved with you. Your life is between you and God and no one else, and God dwells within you. And could you but see this and know it at all times, then your life would be heaven on earth.
And you're saying that perhaps it's a negative feeling about myself that is causing negative action toward me.
Not necessarily. On this dimension, you have opened the door, when you have come to this dimension, to have many things to happen that maybe you did not create directly. But you see, and I seem to be contradicting myself, but there are always an exception. You, just by being on this plane, you open the door for some neighbor to throw trash in your yard. And that is not important, but it is so important how you feel about it, how you handle it. And when you can handle it in love, and when you are face to face with this neighbor and can look them in the eye and say good morning and realize that you're looking at God, then you are free of the chains that bind you to these lower dimensions.
Then could I look at such an incident as something at fashion that I must learn, and when I've learned a lesson that I need to learn because of advances, then my life will go beyond it.
Yes. When you have learned the lessons, all the lessons of this plane, you will no longer need to be in the 1st grade. You can advance then to the 2nd grade, and so on.
And you also spoke of some people enjoying the hurt.
Yes.
If you don't, and maybe I'm associating enjoying with accepting. If you enjoy it, then is that not inviting you back again?
Yes, it is. And it holds it to you. There are some who have nothing but pain in their life because of the way they handle the things that happen to them in their life. Let's take the one example that you gave. If you are disturbed about the neighbor throwing trash in your yard, and you keep thinking about this and dwelling upon it, you're going to bring some other negative experiences into your life, are you not? Because you're sowing the seeds. And so if you continue to do this, then you have nothing but misery in your life. And those who know nothing else have to take pleasure in something, and they learn to take pleasure in their pain, and so they hold it to them.
This is enjoying and inviting misery back to camp.
Yes.
But if we're not enjoying it, the opposite of enjoying, would that not be a negative sin?
It need not be when you know the truth. When you see the truth about it. Everyone is doing the best they can at the moment. Even your neighbor who threw the trash in your yard, even if they did it deliberately. They are doing the best they can with their past conditioning and their enlightenment or lack of it. And when you understand this, then you need not condemn them. And the same applies to yourself. When you make a so-called mistake and condemn yourself or feel guilty about it, then you are binding it to you. You need not feel guilty about a mistake. And this goes against what you have been taught. You need only to recognize that you have gone against the grain of life and there is a better way, and ask God and your helpers from this side of the veil to show you the better way. When you immediately send God's love into a situation that happens to and around you, you have the opportunity of turning it around and making it an opportunity instead of a so-called problem. You see, this again comes back to emotions. It is how you feel about it. It is the attitude that you take toward it.
I think.
God bless you. Are there other questions this evening?
Yes. If you think about love, for example, I want more love, but I want to be able to love more, but I gotta have that ability to love more. Will I get that ability if I ask the masters to help me?
You already have it, my dear.
What?
You already have the ability.
Sometimes it doesn't seem like it's there, not enough.
Yes. And then you're judging, are you not? You see, you are created out of love. God created you in his image, and God is love.
Well, sometimes it's there a real lot, and then other times it just seems empty.
Let me elaborate on what you are saying. Sometimes I recognize it as being there, and sometimes I do not feel it.
That's right.
See, and that is your choice of what emotion that you will use.
I don't want it that way.
Then do not think of it as that way.
Okay.
When you learned to be hypnotized, what was the first thing that you were taught?
To relax.
Assume the role. Assume the role. When you know in your heart that you are a divine being made in the image and likeness of God, then you can love and feel love and create the feeling of love by sending God's love to all of those who are in need of it.
Thank you. That helped.
Yes. Yes, we trip over our own toes sometimes and do not understand. There is so much to learn, and as we go through our days of experience, it is not important what experiences you have, but how you feel about it, your attitude towards it.
It's this love I have in myself that I send out to the world?
It's God's love that flows through you, just as the water flows through the water pipe.
And we're just a channel.
Yes, the water pipe does not